get going. You ready?
No, that's ready.
All right.
Let's ready. That means, but sure.
There we go. And this is episode 11 of Roddy Radio, a subsidiary of Roddy TV, a podcast stemming from the need to listen to me and my cohorts speak English because everybody hates Spanish speakers. But I'm here today with a guest, speaking with a guest who is also an ESL person, whose messages I read in Speedy Gonzalez voice. And we're gonna get fucking real. Her name is Jan Jet. Is that what you want to go by?
Whatever you want to call it. It. I don't know why I refer to myself as it, but hey.
I know why, but we don't have to
I guess
get into that.
coming out as non-binary, so
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. I've been calling you it for years.
I know.
But I do want to get to a few things, and I do want to talk about some. You know why I always liked talking to you about political shit and shit like that?
Uh-huh.
Especially like you're very outspoken about that kind of stuff, and I really like that about you. And I find it extremely amusing because I think a lot of people don't expect that from you because I guess because you're an attractive person, an attractive woman. And I was watching, I had my girls over here for the whole week last week, and Eileen and I watched Toy Stories 1 through 4. And I forgot how awesome the Barbie doll is in Toy Story 3 because she gets all political and like all anarchist and shit.
Oh, dang. I don't remember those because I'm not much of a kiddie movie kind of gal.
It's because you don't have
But
kids. Huh.
you know what to have your daughter watch? Pocahontas. If you want to talk about a badass woman, and I feel like Disney doesn't, to this day, like when I go to Disney, you don't see a bunch of her merch and everything, but she was the original person that started calling out white privilege.
I forgot all
And
about that movie. Yeah, that's not one you see anyone push a lot. Like I don't
no,
know anybody who would cite that as their favorite Disney movie.
no, and it's my favorite movie. And even when I was just in Disney a couple, what was it, a month ago or something like that, she's not a character that walks around. And I mean, they have like Moana walking around, Lilo and Stitch. I mean, you name the characters from all sorts of movies, they have them there. And even if you go look for the pins and the lanyards and everything and the stuffed animals, but Pocahontas is definitely the most
It's harder to
underrated.
find.
And I'm pretty sure it has something to do with, probably back when she came out, I'm assuming most white parents were not very thrilled
Because she
about
was
that.
like the first one that wasn't white. Was it her or was it Mulan?
I think it was her, but the thing is, Mulan doesn't show white people as being, privileged or the enemy.
That's true. I've never watched that. That's just Chinese against Chinese people or what?
If I remember correctly, yes. I don't, and it was more so of her like a coming of age kind of thing. I believe, like her having to fight for her family's honor because it showed more, I believe, of the Chinese culture, even like with the only one child
Oh,
rule
okay.
they had, and that's why they didn't have a boy, and that's why she went to fight in the war because she had to help her family, kind of thing. But Pocahontas, I mean, even the songs are just so like the soundtrack to Pocahontas. It's very like earth loving and like against capitalism.
See, I've never
And
watched it, but I know the song because we sang it in choir. The Colors of the Wind.
yes,
That
and
it's a beautiful song.
my brother and his wife, they had that for like the wedding party song coming out
Oh,
at
really?
the entrance of this. When the bridesmaids come out and all that stuff. So
Is his
it
wife
was
white?
yes.
Is that why they did it?
They're
Because
just
they're painting with all the colors of the wind?
I yep. At this point, yeah.
Shit. Does he have kids now, your brother? Now that he's married?
Yes, I am officially a aunt.
Yeah.
Yep. So it feels nice. I like it. She's not like to the age where she like can tell people I'm her favorite, but like it's noticeable that I'm her favorite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Well, Well,
But
the
yes, make sure.
the choice isn't hard. It's between you and your sister. I mean, come on, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe
If I get your sister on here, I'm gonna tell her the same thing. They'll be like, "Yeah, you're better than Jeanette." It just depends who's on here.
you're like that. Yeah.
The Barbie quote from Toy Story is, "Authority should derive from the consent of the governed, not from threat of force."
Oh, okay.
See what I mean?
Okay, my body, my choice kind of feelings.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's when the bear's trying to make them do stuff like threat of force, and she's like, "No, you can't be the leader by force. It should be because we're consenting to you to be our leader."
Consent. I like that word being thrown around.
I love that. I love that they made her like that. She's not like some ditzy airhead
Oh,
in the world of Toy Story.
Toy Story is actually, I mean, from what I know, a pretty good movie. I know, well, I know Disney has some of their movies have pretty good underlying messages. Like even the movie Cars
Oh yeah,
has a pretty good one. Uh, and you don't really realize it until you're older and you can grasp, like, oh, dang, there is an actual message. And hopefully the kids can see it. But Disney does its thing.
yeah. They're a lot like that. My daughter likes one that's out right now called Elemental. And like when she was like, "You should watch it," I was like, "It looks kind of stupid," but sat down and watched it, and I was so into it. And it's like an immigrant love story. I was like
What?
choking up at the end.
Oh my, I mean, even Encanto and Coco,
Oh yeah,
man, they have been doing their thing. Disney's definitely been, and even with the Ariel, the most recent one that came out with the Halle Bailey, the
is that
actress.
did they keep to the same thing? I don't like the Little Mermaid just because because I side too much with her dad because it's like, yeah, you're 16, like what the fuck.
Yes. So from what I know, because I've never been a Little Mermaid fan, so this was, I believe it still stuck to the same story. I know the songs were the same and everything. Um, her just wanting to live the human life thing, So, I mean, but from what I understand is their mother, oh no, their mom wasn't a human, but she got, I think, killed by humans or something like that. But I mean, it's a representation movie, like all her sisters in the movie. And I don't know if that's how it is in the original cartoonish one, but like all her sisters, they're all so different. Like you can tell one of them looks like she's from like Eastern Europe or something. And then
Okay.
one from, I don't know, like East Africa. Like it's just a lot of representation, and everybody's literally just different ethnicities and colors and combinations, and
See,
it's
yeah,
really good.
I don't even remember Sisters being in the original. I've seen the original one twice, like once when I was a kid and once when I was older. And when I was older, I was like, "What the fuck? This is fucked up." But
Yeah, it's definitely a weird one. I would say I've never been a Little Mermaid fan. I just wanted to show support to this one just because of all the backlash of people were like, no, it's gotta be
she's
the
not.
same.
She wasn't some white girl with red hair.
Yeah, which is funny because I'm like, I don't know if people don't know, but mermaids, I think we've had this conversation.
We
Like
did.
mermaids,
I think we had it on the Spanish show.
yeah.
Where it's like mermaids don't actually exist, but we jumped right in. I didn't even really introduce you. This is Jan Jet. She's a friend of mine from a million years ago. World traveling person. Uh, and I do want to get to. Let's jump right into what I have written down here because I do want to get your opinion on a few things. Like have you been following the whole Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Do you know who that is?
Yes, I got into it. I want to say when the Netflix came out with the series.
Oh, she has a series on there too.
It was, I want to say in 2021 or something like, I want to say it was Netflix or Hulu. I don't know, one of those streaming. They did like a little novela style thing, and it was pretty good. This was at that point, I didn't know it was a real story.
Uh-huh.
I just watched it to because it looked freaky. So I watched it, and then at the end it showed like, oh, she was actually sentenced to this, and I was like, oh shit.
And you're
Like,
like, oh,
and
it's real.
mm-hmm.
I remember hearing a little bit about it, but I didn't know the whole story until now. Now that I started seeing everybody posting her like first selfie after as a free person. I'm like, what the fuck? Who's this? But I don't know. How long was she in prison for even?
Um, I believe it was 8 years. I think she was sentenced to 10 and had the possibility of like parole at 8 years. So she just came free at the end of December. And I mean, that shit's just so sad that I've always told you my biggest soft spot is just kids
Yeah.
because they do not choose what parents they have.
Mm-hmm.
And she was definitely a victim of her mom's attention seeking and whatever else she lacked in her life. And I was even actually watching another little video on it today where it says even Gypsy has accused her grandpa of uh, touching her
Oh fuck.
or making, yeah, some weird stuff, which it kind of, again, kids are always victim to what their parents put them through. And it's sad that that's what route she thought she had to go out of. But it is really creepy because I'm like, she seems to me very like has the fact that she was, on horny vibes and was like trying to have boyfriends and stuff like that. Like, I don't, I don't know. That makes me feel like it's hard to know at this point now if like she's capable of anything like that again,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing. It's those horny vibes that are gonna hit you anyways at a certain age, and then if you're extremely repressed and thinking that you're ill and thinking that you're dying your whole life, I can see how that can be a little bit more maddening than it is for the regular person.
Yeah, and I'm like, how do you? Because I was saying that she knew she didn't have the need for a wheelchair, but she said there was times where she thought she was dying just because of what her mom was telling her. She wasn't aware, I guess, of like any full diagnosis she'd had because doctors would speak to her mom because her mom led on to believe that her brain was that of like a 7-year-old or something like
Oh
that.
shit.
So it makes me, and I don't know, it's just like weird, like you were saying, it's like a natural thing to get onto those horny vibes. But then for her to then use those people to, or that person to help kill her mom,
Yeah, that's the part that kind of
that's a,
changes everything. Like how manipulative was she with that dude?
yeah. And then it makes you kind of be like, kind of like where what is it, the prey becomes a predator
Yeah.
type of thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
it's weird to watch that. And I don't know if you've seen the memes too, but where her boyfriend or husband now looks like her mom.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
But
that's definitely,
that's like a Freudian thing though, how everybody like ends up marrying their worst parent,
yep.
you know? Isn't that
Isn't
weird?
that crazy? And I truly believe in that, which is kind of like a messed up way that we are wired as humans. And you obviously are like, I don't want that. But
But you don't notice it until like in retrospect. Like I see a lot of in my ex-wife, I looking back, it's like, fuck, she did a lot of shit that my dad used to do.
that's
Isn't that
definitely,
weird?
yeah, no. And I look, so, I'm very big on therapy. So when I had my last therapy session, I think it was actually yesterday, that's definitely something the therapist was talking about. It, we're always like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that in a partner. But we do subconsciously attract the exact same thing because we almost know what to expect with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Know
think
how
it's
like
that. It's like,
that's
well, at least I know how to manage. I'd rather go with if I'm choosing out of all these wackos, I might as well go with the wacko I know how to handle because the one I've been
yeah.
trained to handle.
Yeah, and that's like your baseline normal. Like you know how to be like, oh well, I'll just I don't know, give them the silent treatment and they'll ignore me, or I will send them flowers and they'll be over it, or I'll bake them a cake. Like so, it is definitely crazy. And for the Gypsy Rose, I don't know, just interesting. I mean, she's only been out for 2 weeks, if that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens in the future. I mean, I hope she gets help first and foremost.
Yeah. Yeah, you would hope so. And I'm assuming she had help and stuff while she was in prison, but I don't know.
Do you think so?
I don't know. With such a high profile thing like that, I would hope so.
I I mean, because it seemed one thing is that she seemed very, you know, self-aware of what was happening and everything
Yeah.
like that. So I
Well,
don't know.
enough to capitalize on it. She wrote the book. She, sold the story rights, all that stuff.
Yep, and that's my thing. That's why I'm like, I don't know if she necessarily cares because I don't think she thinks anything is wrong with that. Because even like watching the videos of like the confession and all that stuff, um, I don't know. I mean,
So you think she thinks she's okay with, like, she still thinks it was okay to off her mom?
um, yeah, because I mean, she was able to escape. Like she got what she wanted. You know what I'm saying? The
Mm-hmm.
only reason why I'd want her to get help is more so I feel, obviously, I don't know her, but I feel outside looking in that she's okay or has come to terms with what happened with her and her mom.
Yeah.
It's more so she would be if she has a child.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that.
So that's my biggest thing is just getting help for that because again, we all in therapy I learned we all either parent how we learned either from the fun good parent or like the bad parent that we didn't like anything from them.
Yeah.
So seeing that she didn't necessarily have a good relationship with her dad, or maybe he wasn't allowed to see her. I don't remember that part too well, but
But
yeah,
that's
that's scary.
crazy though. Like, I don't know. I guess maybe is it just because it's such an insane case? I mean, to be in trouble with the law and to be going to prison, but like be covered as far as money goes, pretty much. Man, that's luck. Just being able to sell a book and shit. Like, I wish I could commit a crime and then write a book about it and make money.
I know. I mean, she had so many fans waiting for her and all this stuff. And I mean, that happens really with anybody that has any high profile case. Even like, you remember Charles Manson had like
Yeah.
women wanting to marry him. And
And same
um,
with that other dude, the that other Netflix special they made out of him. What's the other guy? Like,
yeah, what was he? The one in California. What was his name? It's not the Zodiac one. It's the,
I was thinking Jeffrey Dahmer. Did you
no,
watch
I know
that
which one
Dahmer one?
you're talking about. It was the other guy with like the little bit of like shaggier hair.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking
Well,
about, but
there's
yeah,
a
like
that,
all the
but yeah, the point is that a lot of those get like, I mean, they have their fans like they like como si fueran artistas. It's weird.
yeah, I mean, and that's I think the scarier part of that is yes, you were like, oh, there's one person that's really bad, but I think the more disgusting thing of that is like, ew, there's a fan base
Yeah.
that is attracted to them and wanting to actually be their partner and support them financially and emotionally, and it's like, no, they're horrible people. They need rehab at
Yeah.
this point instead of just love because I don't think you can realize you did anything wrong if you're having somebody, you
Yeah.
know,
I guess that's kind of what I'm thinking about, like with this with what are we saying? With the
gypsy.
Gypsy Rose is like, can you repent? Can you learn from your mistake if you're actually a lot better off now than you were before you committed the crime? Like, shit.
And that's the thing. I'm like, imagine if her, obviously, I would never hope for that, but like, imagine if her husband, there was like domestic violence, and then she's like, oh, well, I,
Like, I got away with killing someone once. Why not do it again?
yeah, yeah,
And
like,
it's that taste for blood thing, I'm sure. Like, fuck, man.
so I don't know. I mean, hopefully she did. I do believe that, I don't know, because I mean, she did hurt somebody that hurt her. It's not like she
Yeah.
hurt somebody just a random, and those are obviously the more scarier people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. You just got to be like, dang, well, hope she has a better life than she was given in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just all hope that she is on the up and up, I guess. Speaking of
Uh,
parents, though, how's your mom?
She's good. That's my homegirl. She's my bestie now.
She's still
She,
single?
for the most part, I'm just kidding. Yes,
Yeah.
she is.
I always thought she was, well, she probably still is gorgeous. I haven't seen her in years, but God,
I
man.
think she takes care of herself, really good care of herself, and she stays active and she's good. I don't know if you know, but she actually had a stroke in 2020.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't really like to share too many like personal things with my family, but she
Yeah.
had made like luckily she didn't have any like effects that people have, after them.
And she
Some
not
people
like,
like
is she not paralyzed from one side or anything?
no, it was I mean, she literally immediately made pretty much physically 100% recovery. Internally, there's things like, as far as like maybe memory, that, it's hard to determine if it was caused from that or with age.
Yeah.
But she's doing great. She loves being a grandma.
Strokes are rough, man. That's what my mom's dad died from, and that's what my dad's mom died from. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get a stroke someday.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary. That's my biggest thing, is like health anxiety.
Yeah. Do you
I
are
have,
you like that? Are you always like overthinking shit, like
I,
health things
for
like
me,
that?
what it really made it worse was definitely when my mom had her stroke in 2020. So I
Uh
will
huh.
say in like the beginning of 2020, probably a couple months before that, I started having kind of like, oh my gosh, I have a pain in my leg that has to be a deep vein thrombosis or whatever that's called. I would go there. And after my mom's incident, then it became way, way worse. And I'm barely learning to just not be as
Like
conscious of any.
overreactive of any little pain and shit like that.
Yes, because my therapist was, and even my doctor, they were like, everybody, the body's a machine. Like, kind of like if he'll let hear like your car squeaking, everything in your body's a machine. So you're going to hear this squeaking, you're going to get a random pain here, you're going to get a random sensation there, or a random tingling here. They're like, it's just the way the body kind of functions.
Yeah.
So that is definitely what I'm having to work on. And oh man, but it's crazy how many people actually have that I've like talked to. Um, they're like, oh man, I get a pain in my chest. I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm dying from a heart attack.
Really,
So,
that's crazy. I'm like the other way around, but I'm the same way with my car. It's like I just turn the stereo up. Like, I think something's wrong, but I'll just tough through it.
see, I don't know. I feel, I don't know. Like I said, I think it has to come with the fact that, how my dad passed away in 2017, and then
Yeah.
3 years later, my mom having her medical situation. So I'm sure it's some, you know, PTSD from those.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, that's worse. That's the worst feeling. Like, I mean, when my mom had her heart attack, what, like 12, 13 years ago, I mean, that was just even getting those phone calls are the worst. So I feel you there.
mm,
But yeah.
I didn't know that about your mom.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was before she was even divorced. Like I was in college, so I'd moved back in with my parents at the time,
Hmm.
and so I mean that was so long ago. I was still working at Center Partners, and
Oh,
I got to and my oldest brother had taken her to the hospital, and I finally got off work like at 11 or something, and my brother was like, he's like, just go to the house. He's like, there's nothing you can do here now. He's like, just come up tomorrow. He's like, go home, go to bed. I went home and I remember like there was dishes in the sink and my dad I think was asleep, or maybe he might have been working. But I was like, well, I'm like, well, if my mom's dead, I'm just gonna move out. Like I'm not gonna live with my dad. What the fuck? But it was rough. But here we are 12 years later, 13, something like that, and she's fine. Fine as far as a person in her 60s that has to take a shit ton of pills every day, but I mean, she still works and everything. So
and honestly, that's so it's crazy in America, and a lot of people are like, oh, people of certain age need to retire. I'm like, I know so many people that retired and passed so quickly after they retired. Like, I
yeah,
do think people, obviously, like, you would never want somebody doing very heavy labor, and it's sad, but I do think people need to continue doing something every day.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what it is. I guess maybe just the way your body's used to functioning. I don't know.
Just kind of having something to get up and do, and maybe having some sort of physical routine or some shit. I don't know. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you do see that a lot. People retire, and if they're just at home, they pass. Or even
Mm-hmm.
worse, instead of dying, they just sit there and just lose it, which is even
Wither
like to
away.
me that's worse than death. But
Really?
like to just like go nuts or like just lose it. Like I'd rather die.
I wait.
But I mean, it's like, well, I sent you the thing earlier today. There's a lot of things to look forward to in death. You're going to be reunited with your body parts.
I feel that I'm missing mine.
Are you circumcised also? It's the worst.
Yeah, they
Uh,
chopped up more inches than necessary, but
oh yeah. Well, yeah.
we're still there.
Yeah, that's why I'm circumcised because they said they were afraid I'd like because when I was born they were afraid that it was so long it was gonna like strangle me in my sleep. So they just
Mm-hmm.
cut off a whole big chunk.
Dang. Well, science is great, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, did you ever watch Happy Gilmore? That was a good movie.
Nope, not in I haven't seen that one.
Really, it's classic. What's his name? Carl Withers' character. He's missing his hand, and then he dies, and he's like, don't be sad, happy. I got my hand back, and that's how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be looking down at you from heaven when I die, and be like, don't be sad, Jan. I got my foreskin back.
Oh my God. Hey.
Fuck. Anywho, but
Watch
yeah, I
God
mean,
give somebody else because they needed it more than you.
yeah, the people needed that. People, less fortunate people, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. But yeah, I mean that's why I was asking about your mom, man. I always thought she was so hot, and like people would always tell me like, oh yeah, Jeanette's hot and all this shit, and I'd be like, oh, she's kind of cute, I guess. But man, have you seen her mom? Holy moly,
Well,
that's where it was at. Hey, did you see this other thing too? Have you seen like videos of people going nuts over the Rosca de Reyes at Costco?
I've seen memes about it, but I had no idea that. So what? People were just
They were like
when
fighting over them because they'd run out and stuff, and then like people were buying a shit ton of them probably to resell them, and people were having issues with that. And I'm like, well, Costco's a wholesaler. I mean, you can't get angry with someone buying a shit ton of anything, and it's a wholesaler. It's like Sam's Club also.
hmm
But and I saw a video where people were like fighting over them, and I'm like, man, like is a
was that
tradition that crazy?
US?
And I bet you they're trash too. It's like,
Was that in the US?
yeah, it was.
And I'm assuming these are maybe areas that are very white dominated and don't have panaderias.
That's exactly what I was thinking, but and that was the point I was going to make about this is why would you want to go that route? Like if you want to if you feel so important that this is a tradition that's important enough for you, why don't you support your local raza, you know?
Because we got one. I went to a panaderia in Houston,
Hmm.
and I mean, it was delicious. It tasted fresh, and it was good. And I want to say I got the medium size, and it was I want to say $16 for a medium size, which I think they said was for about 10 people, 8 to 10 people, or something like that.
Yeah. That
Uh,
sounds about what it is here. I think the Lupitas here in Idaho Falls is a little bit more than that, but it's
is
like
that
it's
the one
what
there?
what was that?
Is Lupita's the only panaderia there?
No, there's a few other ones, but that's the one that like everybody loves. Because hers is probably the best bread in town, I would say.
I remember it's been there forever. I just don't remember. I remember maybe other ones poking through here and there, but I
Yeah.
didn't know if they started getting competition. Like, oh no,
Remember,
you got to go to.
there was one over on G Street, like next to Midget Market. Remember, Panaderia La Mejor. That was the
Oh
one.
yeah, that
That was the
was
one that was bomb back in the day. Yeah, but they're not. They
good. That
haven't been there forever now. But the food
oh
was bomb there too.
they closed.
Yeah, they haven't been there for a while.
I will say the area was definitely a little
It's
creepy.
the sketchiest part of town. That whole Midget
Ye-
Market area with where everybody was like. That's where all the meth dealers were and stuff.
Yeah, and for me personally, I don't like to go to panaderias in the morning or during the day. I'd always crave them at like nighttime, like
Oh,
7, 8 p.m. night, get closer to closing. So I remember going to that one time and I was like, oh, damn. Like, I mean, hindsight, obviously, Idaho Falls is a very, very, very safe place. Like,
no, creas. We're getting there. There was a shootout yesterday or 2 days ago. Dude.
it's still a very, I would walk in Idaho Falls
Oh yeah. I mean,
literally
I still would
at
too. But I mean,
3 a.m. Or
yeah.
I would even walk in Idaho Falls with my finest things or my anything of worth and expense. I would still feel completely comfortable even walking down the midget
Yeah,
market
I
area.
guess you're right. Yeah, because the people here that are getting into those shootouts and shit are people that are involved. Like you don't see like
Yeah.
innocent people
And I
getting
mean, you see people going there. I think it's maybe because I've been in areas that are definitely like
a lot
you
worse.
see the videos of LA where during the daylight, they'll go up to a Rolls Royce and just put a gun to somebody's head and take off his Rolex and, whatever else of worth he have during the day. So I
Yeah.
think for me, I'm like, well, I don't, to me, it's like everything's targeted. It's never just random people are getting hit by crime.
Yeah.
So if it's targeted crime, like, oh, they owe me money or something like that, I'm like, well, to me, it's still a safe place.
Yeah, like yeah, because they're not gonna do shit to you because you don't know them money or your drugs or whatever it is. But
Yeah,
yeah,
like nobody, I haven't heard of any stories of people getting robbed at gunpoint at the gas stations.
yeah, you're right about that.
Or even all like the little crackheads, they break into people's homes like when they're not there, like when they're at work. But
They're all
it's,
non-violent criminals and shit here.
I mean, listen, after being in Houston, Miami, LA, and like staying in New York, I'm just so used to booby trapping my doors and like hiding stuff of value or, stuff like that. And there's certain cities where I walk around, literally, like if you were to see me, you wouldn't recognize me. I'm like baggy pants, baggy sweater, like cap. I have my hair underneath my cap. So it looks like I'm like a guy because it's safer
No,
to walk places that way.
yeah,
Um,
so that
but
they
yeah.
don't see that it's this little Mexican girl that they can easily gunpoint.
Yeah, I just don't want them to just even I want them to think I'm the bad person,
Yeah.
like, yeah, like I'm crazy. Don't come at
So you walk around like a fucking crazy hobo and like talk to yourself and
me.
shit.
Yes, that's the thing. For women, honestly, it's not more so like, robbing my phone, it's robbing my goodies.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask about too. I'm like, is that what the baggy clothes are for? You don't want to be showing no cleavage or ass or anything
Yeah.
because
Yeah, no, and I'm literally walking like with my arms out, like if I'm like masculine, my legs spread open, like if I'm a guy. You know what I'm saying? How guys
yeah.
don't walk like
Uh,
feminine.
you should stuff
So
a summer sausage down your pants so it looks like a big old wiener.
that might attract some people though.
Oh, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's if somebody wants the micro, then they might deserve it. But like, oh man, it looks like a micro in there.
Shit. No, but you know plenty self defense too, though. I mean, not that that doesn't mean you want to be using it, but you've done self defense training and shit, right?
Yeah, I've gone to a jujitsu place in the Houston area with a guy who's like he was like a world champion at jujitsu, like just an amazing person. He's done a couple like female um classes where they're more so like how to get away from certain movements and how to defend yourself. I can't like fist fight the guy because obviously a man's strength is different than mine, but I can at least get away and feel
Like
safe.
distance
And
yourself.
yes, in certain compromising situations.
Yeah, that's good.
Would you put your daughters in anything like that?
I want to eventually be for that same reason, and
Mm, I
you
think
know,
that'd be good. I
because
think
even
it's
if it is a safe place here for robberies and shit, people are psychos like that. It's like you said. It's like it's not so much like yeah, getting robbed is bad, but like getting raped or molested is a million times worse. So
especially for women, being that you have
hmm
two daughters, like if they go to college and move and travel, like you want them to be at least able to not be scared of whatever is out there.
yeah,
At
if
least
they
the
have to live
exposure.
alone and stuff like that, yeah,
And you just want to know that you've done what you can for them.
yeah, yeah. Do you ever you have firearms, don't you?
Oh, yes.
So I
I mean,
thought,
my family loves them. I'm definitely a big person of like, I think guns are great. It's the military style, like rifles and, you know, those high powered things that basically everything that a mass shooting in America has, every like, what are they, type of assault rifles that have been used in mass shootings in America,
yeah,
I do think those need to be banned. But guns, like just handguns themselves, I mean, you're going to have to be freaking A1 in killing as many people if you had a handgun.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yes, I'm
yeah.
definitely
I agree with that too.
pro
Like
hand.
I'm not like anti-gun, but definitely needs to be a lot more gun control in this country. The first time I ever shot a gun was during COVID. I'd never shot a gun until 2020.
And how was the like? Where'd you go? What'd you do? Why?
Like because where I'm a felon, I can't even have guns. But
Mm.
a person I know who had COVID at the same time as I did was my COVID buddy. He's like, let's go shoot. Like, that's fucking COVID safe. We'll be away from people. And we just went out to the desert out here and like shot at some targets. And I was surprisingly good, like with the smaller ones, obviously, like the 22. I, and he was like, I thought you never shot. I was like, I thought there was, always assumed there was like a lot of recoil on all guns. I'm like, but this honestly feels like a BB gun. And I'm like, I mean, we've always gone out and shot BB guns. So I was about as good a shot with the 22 than I was with the BB gun.
Yeah, the 22s are like great um for that.
Yeah, I was hitting all the targets and the cans and stuff. I was like, wow.
Dang, look at you. Well, that sucks that you're a felon. Can't talk to you no more.
I've been a felon for a long time, and you've always talked to me. If anything, I think you
Yeah.
started talking to me again when I became a felon.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you fell
That
off
was
for a
like
few years. Why'd you fall off for a few years? Was it after? It was after your father passed. Were you just having a hard time?
I think I talking to you or my best friend. I can't remember, but I was more so along the lines where I got to this point where I was like, only my family matters.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I can't say I lost friends, but I lost contact. Like I stopped contacting any friends, stopped replying,
Yeah.
and it was like family only, family only, family only. Um, stopped responding to like even invitations for like baby showers or anything. Like I definitely was 100% like trying to grasp onto every second with my family, which obviously is like a good thing. The problem is in life, you do need all your tanks filled, and my social life suffered,
You were
and
suffering that in that regard, huh?
that um that unbalance in my life I led also to a bunch more, you know, anxiety and all this other stuff. So I've been doing a better job lately of reaching out to friends like you and like my other best. You're like my one of the best my best friends that I have. So
Oh,
I would
that's
say
really
keep in
nice.
contact with like my best friends. I'm still not to the point where I can do shallow relationships yet. Like
Yeah.
I'm very still only with like my best friends that I can talk deep about, family, anxiety, stress,
The ones that
every
you can be as you can do kind of both. You can send each other memes about foreskin in heaven, but you can also have deeper conversations.
yes. So if I can't, talk to you about, foreskin and then
And then
my deep
five
emotions,
seconds
then
later, be talking about some deep shit. But
yeah.
because that was the thing, I remember when I found out your father died, I sent you a message and then like you didn't reply, and I was like, oh well, like. But then you never like. Honestly, you didn't talk to me for. I want to. It's had to be like 2 or 3 years maybe.
What if I thought
And
you did it?
if you thought I did what, killed your dad?
Yep. Maybe that's why I stopped talking to you. I was leading an investigation.
Is that why? Is that what's going on?
Well,
Why
you
would you?
wanted my mom. I'm doing the math.
Why would you think that? Well, that's where I was going with this. Is that like I was like, well, she's having a hard time. But then when a lot of time passed, I was like, wow, like what the fuck, like it hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. But then when
I
you
know.
did, when you did start talking to me, like I was half tempted to be like, well, I'm gonna fucking answer to you if you ain't answering me. But then I remembered how hot your mom was, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna answer her.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Yeah, no. I feel bad because I definitely like even with my very best friend, I still like it makes me really sad that I missed the birth of her
Oh,
children because I
wow.
was in a just my family was the only thing that mattered. And like to this day, I think that's definitely um I was having a deep conversation the other day and I was like, oh, what's your like one of your biggest losses? I was like, well, besides my dad, obviously, I will say it was like the next thing is like me not being there for my best friend when her kids were being born, just because I was very consumed with my situation and like nothing else mattered at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I realized like I was like, oh, even like Rodrigo, I was like that was one of my very best friends. Like I remember mentioning you. I was like, it was um it was like a weird deep conversation. It was like, who is somebody in your life that helped form you? And I was like, my best friend Rodrigo. Like had I not met him at like 16 or 15, whatever age I was, I was like, he taught me that it was like cool to just be a fucking weirdo and like immature, and like you can be immature and responsible at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it was, I was like, I definitely think seeing that fully, like he would get fucked up and still make it to work. I was like, damn, like I always thought you couldn't do both things in life. And I didn't think you could be silly and a good worker. I didn't think you could be a rude person and a good friend. So yeah, I realized I missed a lot of like my friendships when it really mattered the most. But yeah, now we're here though. We're good.
You're making me
We're getting better.
choke up, man. Like, what the fuck?
I know it was weird to
Like, you've
realize. I was
never
like,
told me these things like so sincerely. It like, wow.
well, I never realized that. You don't realize things until hindsight. And how because they were. It was like literally, it was like what somebody, obviously apart from family that has like helped form who you are or whatever. I was like, damn, or who you emulate. I forgot how it was worded, but I was like, damn, it's definitely been Rodrigo for
That's
sure.
that's awesome. And I remember I used to always joke and say that you were, because Bianca was my sidekick, and people would say like, I thought Jeanette was your sidekick. I was like, no, she's my protege. Like, she's learning from me in a
Yeah,
different way.
that's
Wow.
exactly what it was. It was like you can like say the most asshole rude things that like have ever existed, but it's like
I've said terrible things to you, and
I know.
but it's like, but I still love you. Like, what fuck, you know?
Yeah, and that's when I learned I was like, words really don't matter if somebody's actions are like
Yeah.
different.
And the thing is, and I was joking about the whole. I actually was not like, it did suck that you were like fell off, but I wasn't really hurt. Like, because I know how you are. I knew it was probably just you having a really hard time, and I learned that from you. Like that one time, we were at work, and I don't even remember what I did or what I said, because we were rough with each other. It's like the whole thing where that time when we were playing hit for hit.
And
Remember
you
that?
hit me on the, yes.
Well, I didn't hit your boob on purpose. Like, it was your fault for flinching. Like,
Yeah,
we were getting like,
I moved my shoulder.
yeah, we were
Like,
swinging hard at that point, and then you swung super hard and like knocked me back, and like it hurt. So I was like, oh, you little bitch, like it's your turn now. And so I wind up, and I'm going, and you flinch, and you move your shoulder, which means you actually like put your boob out, and like I try to pull my
that was a
punch.
target.
What's that?
Mhm. Yeah, that was now the direct target.
Yeah, like where your
Like,
shoulder was, now it was your right breast. And I'm like,
yes.
so I try to pull my punch, but thank goodness I did pull my punch a little bit. I think I would have like really hurt you. But I remember just like hitting your tit, and then like both of us just staring at each other for a while, and then you just were like, like you're gonna give me breast cancer, and we were just like
Yeah, I
laughing
remember.
nonstop.
I thought I had to get a mastectomy after that.
It was, so that's how we play. That's how rough we were with each other. Like, but then one day I don't know what I said or what I did, and you were like, dude, like I'm still a girl. Like I have feelings. Like you really hurt my feelings. I think you were kind of like tearing up, like crying a little bit. I felt really bad about it.
I think you were, I forgot what it was. It was probably some insecurity you said started to make fun of me for. And I want to say it was maybe like my mustache or something like that.
Yeah.
Something along those lines where I was like, I'm just a girl, okay?
I remember, and that was what you said. You were like, you said, I'm still a girl, man. Like, I was like, okay, so she is sensitive under all this toughness.
Hmm.
So that's why I wasn't. That's why I gave you the time you needed after your dad passed. I'm like, she'll be back
Yeah,
eventually.
I'm back and I'm better.
Hell yeah,
I'm back, I'll say. Not back and better, back and in therapy.
yeah. Well, that's good that you work on yourself like that too.
I'm trying, I'm trying. And that's why I want to meet up. Remember, it was supposed to be me, you, and I think Oscar.
Yeah,
Was that?
but you never came up. You'd said you might be in town like in April or something last spring.
Yeah, and
That's
it was just my mom that ended up going. I
yeah.
couldn't go. I wonder why couldn't I go? I don't remember what it was. I couldn't go, so my mom ended up going by herself. But
Yeah, you told me why, but I can't remember either. But yeah, I mean that's
yeah,
definitely like if and when the next time you're in town, we have to actually get together. We have to do a Spanish podcast and then do Fiesta Ole.
oh man, that Fiesta Ole, I've missed that.
It's the best. It's
That's
still the best.
definitely like the shittiest food ever. Like I can't imagine myself eating that anywhere else outside of Idaho Falls.
Yeah, yeah. It's the best, and it's the best worst food you'll ever eat.
That's literally the only way to describe it. Like Like thinking about it, it's not necessarily even like very flavorful, but just somehow all the ingredients together and everything, it's like the perfect equation where it's a good meal and you're like, oh shit, this place is really probably one of the best here in Idaho Falls.
Yep. I love it, and I've always loved it, and I just hope they never, because I think they closed the one down that was over by Pockets. I think it's the 17th Street one is the only one open there in Idaho Falls, but they still have the one out in Rigby too. So I'm
They
like,
had
as
one
long
in,
as they don't close it,
oh yeah, they did have one in Rigby, I
yeah.
remember.
And they actually got a new building in Rigby at the Rigby one too. So
Damn, how's Rigby? Damn,
Rig,
that place was.
Rigby's growing because where that's all that they had in Rigby, because that's where I went to high school. So it was like Arctic Circle or Fiesta Lay, and Fiesta Lay was right next to the like connected to the gas station, to the Stop and Blow.
Mm-hmm. The what?
The what was called the Stop and Go, but we all called it the Stop and Blow.
Oh,
And
okay.
that space is now a Little Caesars. Now there's a Papa Murphy's where the Maverick used to be, and now the Maverick's a giant building. And then behind Brolam's is a newer building that's a Fiesta Lay. And now there's a
Oh, damn.
Wendy's, and there's a Chinese place, and there's just a ton of growth, and
Dang.
it's impressive. They have a gym. They have two gyms now, actually, I think.
Do they have an Apple out there yet?
Not in Rigby, no. There's a Anytime. I go to the Anytime, and if I don't have anything to go to Idaho Falls for, I'll go to the Rigby one right after work because it's just less traffic. It's the same distance, less traffic.
Is Anytime still over there by the Walmart in Idaho Falls?
Yeah, on the east side, way over there. There's two of them. There's that
Mm.
one, then there's the one on the west side. So it's like Anytime, more like any place.
For real, they're anytime, any place. That's where you see everybody. Dang, I can't believe it. I haven't been to Idaho Falls in years now. I do definitely need to go back. But it's just such a long journey to get there.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe
It's
I should.
literally an hour.
I feel like I need to do some traveling. Like I've never fucking leave Idaho Falls area, and it's like I even have a passport and shit, and I never go anywhere.
It's crazy because I feel like all my friends that I see from there, Bianca has to be the most traveled person out of there.
Oh yeah,
Like, I never see anybody else leave Idaho Falls or like that southeast Idaho. And then I'm going on like Facebook and Snapchat. Here's Bianca traveling the world. And I'm like, how is she the only person getting
that's because she's they're her husband are the dinks. They're dual income, no kids.
that's that's definitely the way to go to
Yeah.
travel.
Did you ever watch Doug on Nickelodeon back in the day?
Hell yeah.
And his neighbor, Mr. Dink.
Oh, no
That's
way.
what Dink stood for, is dual income, no kids, and that's why he always had all that stuff that was very expensive.
Oh
And that's
man.
why
Oh,
Bianca's traveling all around, because her and her husband both have fairly good jobs and they have no kids, and so they can save up
yeah,
and go
she's
whenever
living
they want.
life.
Hell yeah, she is. She's a smart one.
Yeah, she's traveling more than I am.
Right? Shit. No, you know what the last thing, a big like controversial thing that I wanted to get your opinions are on. Could you imagine, like, if I had a list of people that did a bunch of depraved shit, you think the fucking feds wouldn't make me release that immediately?
Yes.
So what the hell's up with the whole Epstein thing?
Yeah, that thing is just so. That's one of those things. I don't know who I was having a conversation with. Like these kinds of conversations. It's just one of those things that the most elite, powerful people in the planet are on there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of the, like, they just don't want to get found out. You know what I'm
It's
saying? Like,
so
if it was
gross,
like
man.
regular, if it was like regular Joe Blow and
Yeah.
person that made, even if you made $50 million a year, they're like, yeah, go ahead and put this person out there to, $50 million is nothing compared to the type of people
To
on
the
those.
multi-billionaires, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that the one to me, have you been watching the memes about Stephen Hawking?
Yeah, those are the best. It's
Oh
like
my.
we shouldn't make light of something so terrible, but it's like fuck. Fuck Stephen Hawking.
You know what I always say
What's
is
that?
my like quote in life for like men is I'm like, there's men that will have literally nothing in this planet,
Hmm.
but they will have the audacity.
Oh, yeah.
And that to me is Stephen Hawking. Even it's just so much stuff coming out, even like how he cheated on his wife
Yeah.
with the nurse taking care of him, like it just sick people. But it just shows you too how it kind of sucks that they closed the show or ended the show To Catch a Predator because it showed that these people have no common race,
Yeah.
religion, age, gender. I mean, male for most part, but
Yeah.
um, it's really creepy and it's scary
I watch a
that
lot of on YouTube. I watch a lot of. I mean, I watch that old show, but there's also a lot of people that just do it independently now, like the
yes, I
predator
love
hunters
those.
and stuff. I love that shit.
To Catch a Predator, there's one that's they're based out of Houston,
Hmm.
and I was like watching them. I mean, that one's really good at, but it's just so crazy how the government's really not. I don't know why they're not worried about it.
Yeah.
Um, but again, I don't know if the government even necessarily has enough resources to combat something that big because those are like how they call them like sex trafficking rings.
Yeah.
It's because there's really no way to connect them to another like cell and group of sex trafficking. Like it's not like they're all
It's
intertwined.
not
Like
a network. It's just one circle of the most
yeah, and
important
then they'll
people in the
have
world.
this other. So it's almost one of those things where it's like, what can the government do?
Yeah.
Like let's say like these like one of these powerful families is on there. Like realistically, what can the government do?
Yeah. Which is the problem. Like that's where your checks and balances fail. Like if people can be more powerful, if someone independently wealthy can be more powerful than the government, then the fuck's the point of
And where were
having a
these?
government?
Were they like American owned islands? Do you know?
I don't even know. I don't know where Epstein Island is or was or.
Yeah, because I'm wondering what their rules are, right? Like, what if they're like, oh no, in this country that owns this land or whatever, the age of consent is like 12 or whatever.
And that's so gross. The fact that it's so heinous what they're doing and that they're able to cover it up, like that makes it sad. Like if I had a list of, like if I sold like you and Bianca and like all my friends like fucking drugs, and I had a list and receipt of everybody I sold them to, and I got caught one day by the feds and they found like my notebook full of like every one of your guys' names that I sold drugs to, they would immediately go after all of you guys.
Immediately there would be, or they would do a full on investigation and like follow you and see and do all this crazy stuff. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
crazy that they see these things and they don't care to check it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, it's just scary. But then, I
And that's what I'm
mean,
saying. And drugs aren't, compared to all these other accusations. It's like fuck, man. And it's so
right.
gross, man. I mean, I just can't understand any.
And like I've told you again, kids to me are definitely my biggest soft spot in the world of like, I just, they don't choose to be here and they don't choose anything else after that until they're older and can actually make a living and, make certain lifestyle changes or whatever. But the fact that it's kids and they just go missing and like nobody knows them, it could be from other countries. Like it's sad and it's just, again, just scary that these people are people that are idolized. And that's why I can't,
Yeah, it's the
like,
worst.
I don't know, it's just so creepy. And I'm like, why would you? I mean, even what was it like? Oprah's had pictures with this guy. Like,
Yeah, yeah, I saw
even
that. Yeah, fucking
even
Oprah.
if I knew somebody, and I'm sure these like creepy stories were floating around back then. Like, even if somebody they were like, oh no, this is somebody's creepy uncle. I'm like, why the fuck would I want to go take a picture with this guy? If there's speculation of him being the creepy guy or whatever.
Yeah,
But money, it's. Did you watch the Cat Williams interview?
I haven't actually. I've just seen the memes about it. Same thing.
Oh man, well he just says this one part where it's like saying it's not necessarily about the full Epstein thing, but it's more so just talking about how like money as long as you have the money to do it, you don't really have to ask permission or get any repercussion for what you do.
Yeah.
Like Elon will never have to fail or have to have any repercussion for literally anything he does, you
Yeah.
know?
Which is
Um,
gross. I mean, that's just no one should have that much power over anybody else.
no, and I saw this one little comparison about money. I don't know if I've told it to you, but it was saying how, well, I think I did tell you and Jackie, but it was just saying how if they were like studying monkeys and this one monkey just kept hoarding bananas,
Oh yeah,
even
yeah.
they would like go bad, and then there's these other monkeys that are like having to split one banana for a family of five. But the other monkey kept hoarding bananas, hoarding bananas, hoarding bananas, had houses full of just rotten, spoiled bananas that they'd be like, that monkey is mentally ill,
Yeah.
the hoarding it. And that's equivalent to like money nowadays. And
To
it's
that
crazy how these
1% and all of the and still having people that are homeless and kids dying of starvation and shit in the world.
and my thing is, like the homeless part, that's the sad part, but more so like kids still dying of illnesses that we have full cures
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, that's the worst part. People that know damn well there's cures for a lot of diseases.
Yeah, like these kids that are like being born and they're not getting they're in situations that are not very hygienic. So it's like we do have the ability to help them at least make it past this, or like it's, I mean, come on now, even no matter where you stand politically, even like the hospitals in Gaza,
Yeah.
like these hospitals do not need to be without electricity, water, equipment for there's like the babies being born and the people needing more so the kids. That's always my thing. Um, where you stand politically, like you should don't understand the kids are just,
Yeah.
I don't know. You can help
Yeah,
them, why would.
seeing a baby cling to life should affect you the same way regardless of what you think politically.
Oh, and let me ask you something. I don't know if it's controversial. What is your stance on that whole Palestine Israel thing?
It's honestly I haven't looked into it enough to have like a real big issue like or
Hmm.
opinion rather. The whole issue with I don't know, you're gonna think I'm a terrible person, man, because like when it comes to all that stuff, I'm like, there's been fighting in that part of the world for ever since humans started. So it's like nothing's gonna like I just don't think anything's ever gonna get fixed. Now, obviously, I do agree with you on the part of the humanity part where it's like, yeah, they do need help for the children, this and that. But as far as what, like, is there ever going to be a resolution in these parts of the world? Like, I don't think so.
Hmm.
And then we're over here and we can sit here and complain about the government and everything. But at the same time, it's like, man, like the closest thing we've ever had to war on U.S. soil was 9/11, and that was just that incident, and then that went the entire other way. So I don't know what, like, it's hard for me to put myself in those shoes where we have never been there
Hmm.
and hopefully never get into that part, and I just don't think that they're ever gonna have any resolution. But it is the entire world's business, the humanity part of it, to help those innocent kids, the innocent family, the innocent people that have nothing to do with the wars. But as far as the an actual opinion on it, I'm not informed.
Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, I respect that because most people are like, "Oh, I'm this side because the people and celebrities I follow are pro this side, or
Yeah, yeah,
religion has me be on this side or whatever." So,
yeah. See, I'd rather sound ignorant or admit to being ignorant about it than to say, well, I saw, you know, so and so celebrity post pro this or pro that, and so that's where I'm going. Like, yeah, no.
I feel you. I feel you. See, I'm pretty one sided on that situation.
Well, tell me yours then.
I am definitely on pro Palestine. I don't consider Hamas to be a representation of the Palestinian people, just how the people that invaded the capital January 6th
Yeah,
do not represent the American people, um, the Americans that dropped the nuclear bombs in what was the country, the cities in Japan?
Hiroshima.
Yes, that they don't represent Americans. Like, the people that do Epstein does not represent Americans.
Yeah.
These Stephen Hawking's, that does not represent Americans. So I'm able to separate hate groups from the countries. And again, I don't think Jews are bad people. I don't think a religion is bad people. I just think specifically in those places based on location is what I'm labeling them as, right? So
Yeah.
the Israeli people that are attacking the Palestinian people who don't, because, I don't know if you know, but I was learning that the Israeli has, it's one of the top military as far as like intel in the world.
Yeah,
So
I did
for
not
them,
know that.
it's insane, like just how smart and like well built their military is. And like, they might not have the numbers, but the intelligence that they have and stuff like that. So for them to go against a group of attacking the Palestinian people that all they have is like rocks and pebbles and maybe handheld grenades that they're
Oh,
being
okay.
provided by hate groups.
So they're Palestine. The Palestinian people are like the farmers with pitchfork kind of thing.
Correct. And it's really sad because they obviously are not, they're getting labeled as Hamas,
Mm-hmm.
which they're not. If it was, I mean, they wouldn't look how they are. Those country, they have the way they're getting kind of corralled into sections and then still bombarded in those sections.
Mm-hmm.
I think to me is just the treatment of like how even the hospitals have been getting targeted by Israeli. And again, they have a very, very intelligent military. So they are very precise in their attacks. But
Yeah.
for them to be hitting hospitals, and that's kind of what sucks with war, right? It's never the top people. Like imagine if like Biden was like me, you, and me and Kim Jong Un are gonna go fist fight in this ring,
Yeah,
and
that's one of those things. Like ever since you start kind of learning about war and stuff, that you're always like, well, have them have it out. Like instead, they send their poorest people with empty promises to go fight the wars. So it's like shit.
and it makes you and it you grow up hating people based on what other people tell you, kind of like the Crips and the Bloods. They hate
Yeah.
each other because they're being told to hate each other, but they literally have probably no beef. But if you ask them, they're like, oh, they killed this person of mine. And then you're like, well, if you were to ask the other person, well, why did you kill them? Well, because then they killed one of this person of mine.
It's
Like
all
it's a never ending.
retaliation like that. Yeah, exactly. It's never ending, and that's why I try not to educate myself on it because I know there's not going to be a resolution, and that's
Mm-hmm.
but then like, but I guess if I have to, I'll just say whatever you say because
Which is good.
you're
And
my favorite celebrity.
it's not a against Jews or Muslims. It's just the fact that Palestine needs to, in my opinion, at least those vulnerable spots need to stop getting attacked by the country of
Yeah.
Israel. There's no religion or color, nothing attached to it. It's just simple
Yeah.
fact of
It's like you said, if
Palestine.
Hamas doesn't represent Palestine, it's like if someone came and attacked the KKK because there's nothing more American than the KKK, and you and I ended up getting killed because of that. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I ain't got nothing to do with the KK. There's literally not. I'm not one of the Proud Boys. I'm not one of these. Remember the QAnon
The
people? Like
QAnon, the MAGAs, all these.
yeah, like I do not affiliate with any. I'm not even a Boy Scout. So if anybody has a problem with the Boy Scouts, I have nothing to do with them. Like so, but yeah, that's good to know. I just wanted we haven't had that. I think that's one of the few things that we haven't talked about. So
Yeah. No, yeah, that's and Jackie was the one that was like she started posting stuff on Instagram about that, and I was like, she's like, can you put this on a podcast page? I was like, sure. She's like, are you not like super sad? I was like, I haven't really educated him. I was like the same thing that I'm telling you. I was like, I don't know, dude. I was like, I mean, feel free to use the
so
platform, but
what
what was that?
what was her stance? I didn't get to see that.
I don't even remember. This was like at the very beginning of it,
Mm,
but
that's interesting. I'll have to go look at that.
probably the same as yours because her whole thing was that she was like saying that it was just really affecting her. She was like going through something just from all the footage of the kids in the hospitals, the
Mm-hmm.
bombed out hospitals and shit. So
Oh,
that's the thing. Because that's the thing. I mean, if you sign up to be a part of any military, you know what you're in for. But
yeah.
you know, that's rough, man. You really brought this down.
I know. Let's go cry together.
You know, sometimes a good cry. You almost made me cry on this. I did. That's not something I expected today. But you know, sometimes we have
Well,
feelings.
I am part of the Rodrigo hate group, so.
I'm just a girl. I still have feelings. Shit. There's a couple here in Idaho Falls, like a married couple,
And you, and
and
I already know he wants to be the cook.
probably no. But what I was gonna say was they individually, like separately, before they even met each other, like this guy didn't like me at work because I would always call him out for not washing his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And then his wife, for whatever reason, we like just never got along separately. Like I met her at school, and then they ended
Mm-hmm.
up getting married. And I always joke about how they probably met like at a anti Rodrigo club meeting,
Oh dang!
and that's what they
Yeah,
had in common.
I'm gonna start organizing that then.
Maybe you'll
That
meet
sounds
a
like
special someone there.
maybe.
Fuck, man. But let's go ahead and start wrapping this up. I don't know. Have you heard any of the Roddy Radio podcasts?
No, that's one I have not heard.
Okay. Well, we've been ending these with one last question, because
Okay.
you know, and you're probably never gonna get married, so you. But this whole thing started was actually with Jesse. You remember Jesse Teniente?
Yes, love Jesse. He's such a great person.
Yeah, and we were talking about like his wedding and stuff, and how he picked his groomsmen, and his wife had the bridesmaids and stuff. And I said, you know
Uh-huh.
what you don't get to pick, but is equally, if not more important, is your pallbearers. So that's the question we've been ending the show with: is who would your pallbearers be if you died tonight and got buried tomorrow?
Okay, let's see. Well, I would need them strong enough, and I would need a lot of them.
Oh wow,
So
yeah.
it would be
We just rent a
my
crane in that case.
what?
We just rent a crane in in that
No,
case,
yeah, just go ahead and grab
because you a big mama.
it. Oh man, so it'd be Xena. What?
Whatever, big mama. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so it'd be Xena, Anya, my friend Laura, who else? You, 'cause I just want to have it friends. I wouldn't want my family to do that for me. Um,
Why wouldn't you want your family to do it?
because I don't know. I think I would. I mean, after that emotionally draining thing, do you think I want them to be physically tired?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no.
just
I think I,
interesting to me. I'm not like disagreeing or anything. It's just interesting to me because there was a group of guests actually that all said the opposite. They're like, oh, it would just be family, like immediately family. Like, why not? Like, I don't think I'd get my friends involved. So it's like the exact opposite of what you just said.
yeah, no, I don't want my family to actually have to do any work that day. So that would be all on my friends. They're the ones that are doing the work. So,
Mm.
so four people. I'm trying to think who else. Um, shit, it might just be y'all four.
Should be enough. As long as there's one on each corner, we can probably handle it. And if he can take frequent breaks.
It's gonna have to have skills. You're just gonna have to push it.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. All right. Do you even want to get buried though, or are you a cremated person?
Do I want to get married or buried? What was it you
Buried.
said?
Buried.
Oh, I thought the option was married or cremated. I was like, well, shit, at that point. I think cremation is the best,
Yeah.
more so
Same.
because I've seen people not want to move out of a certain place because their loved one is
Oh.
buried nearby. Like we cremated my dad, and of course, a lot of people religiously and because the Mexican culture were like, "Oh my God," da, 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 da. But I
Mm.
love it because all of us have a piece of him.
Do you have
And
some of his ashes?
yeah, we all have it in like a little heart wooden box.
Nice.
Um, and then we have like a big the main one with he was a big guy, so there was so many
There's
ashes.
a
They
lot of
ended up
ashes.
giving it to us, so we got it in a main jar, and then we had four hearts, wooden hearts filled up, and they still gave the rest to us in a bag
Oh wow.
because he had a lot of muscle, and that's what burns down. So like fat doesn't become as ashy, but muscle does.
Yeah. Well, fat probably just like melts away, doesn't it? Like butter.
Yeah, so I didn't know that, but yeah, I think cremated would be best, just so everybody can have me and do whatever they want.
That's such a
Because I mean,
logical reason for you to want that too. As I want to get cremated, my only reason is because I'm like I feel bad enough taking up space while I'm alive. Like I want to take up space when I'm dead.
and isn't that crazy how in the US you just stay there forever? Like in
Yeah.
Mexico, I remember my dad's, I don't know if it was his mom or one of his siblings, but they ended up getting the bones thrown away because in Mexico you have to
Hmm.
pay rent. And if you don't pay it, they literally just go and dig the bones or whatever's left and just put the next person in there.
Yeah. We saw that. Me and my brother, my younger brother, were at the El Panteon, and there was like this 100-year-old grave that they had dug up, and so the coffin was all rusted out, all nasty, and like you could and they just that was there still, but they had already taken the remains out, and that's what my mom explained to us too. I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy. So you'd want to be cremated as well?
Yeah, that's what I want, to be
Who are
cremated.
your pall who are your pallbearers?
Um, it's funny, no one's ever Uno reversed that on me. I'm not sure. Uh, probably I would probably do the family thing. Probably my three brothers if they're still around. Um, not you. What I would want you to do at the I want you to speak at any service that's done in my memory.
Oh, I'm amazing at speeches. I did one at my brother's wedding. Everybody was in tears and then
Nice.
laughing
Yeah, see, and that's what I want. I want you to make them laugh,
and
but
cry
and
and then
cry
laugh.
both of it. Yes, exactly. But like just be like, don't cry for him. Like he's got his foreskin again or something. So
Yeah.
something like that. And actually, don't say that because then people are gonna assume that you've seen my wiener.
Right. And then
Yeah.
that's just and be like based on it, his mom's gonna be like, wait, that wasn't even true.
Unfortunately, it is true, but oh well.
So you're what gonna have a lopsided casket getting carried out?
We have three brothers. I have a lot of friends, like close friends. Maybe Oscar or some of my high school friends, like my music friends, right? Like Ryan that was on this podcast.
Isn't it crazy they
Um,
have to be the same kind of height too? Because if one of them was like a short
yeah, exactly. That's what we were talking about with my friend Ryan, because like he named like four friends that were really tall, and then me and our other friend Randy, who's about as tall as me. I'm like, well, we're gonna have to like figure out how this is gonna be, or else you're just gonna be wobbling around or drop you. So I don't know. That whole thing is, I don't know, burials are insane. They're kind of fun, like to go to funerals and stuff. Like you get to see a lot of people you haven't seen in a while, but
it's just to me crazy how expensive they are.
yeah, yeah, which is another reason why you want to get cremated, because you don't want like have your family spend a lot less money on that than buying you a big old coffin. That's another thing too. It's like the furniture I've owned is always like piece of shit furniture, so I don't want the most expensive furniture I've ever had to be a coffin.
I mean, that's insane. I remember when we went to go look for stuff for my dad, like we'd already known that we were going to cremate him. My mom let me and like my siblings make that decision,
Hmm.
but the people at the funeral home were very sales pitchy into like,
Oh,
oh, if you really love your loved ones, like you want to have them go with the most this, and like this is silk lined, and this is cherry wood, and
I don't understand that at all. Like
I'm like,
before
no,
your dad died, or just I guess this is just to anybody who still has their parents or any loved ones. Buy them something really nice and posh while they're alive.
have them wear it. Yeah, don't bury them in something nice.
Buy
Like, don't
them
bury them
buy
in
them a
shoes.
really nice like a lazy boy or something, a really nice mattress that's silk
Get
lined.
them a massage.
Yeah.
Like, give them comfort while they're here. So yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, ya muerto. He's not. He wasn't gonna feel any of that silk lined anything.
Hell no.
But yeah, that's kind of sad that they get that there's. I mean, it's a business, and it's a good business to be in, because nobody's gonna stop dying
It-
ever. So
yeah.
And I mean, I thought about that, but I'm like, I'm too squeamish. Like, I'd puke on cadavers if I had to like work with them.
Yeah, that's definitely nothing I could deal with because even with my dad, I didn't want to see his body.
Oh, you didn't see
Mm-mm. No, I didn't want
the
to. I
cadaver?
know two of my siblings did. I chose not to, and that's something I don't regret.
Yeah.
Um, it's just, I know some people find it like a,
Some sort of
what is it,
comfort or something. I don't
nah.
think I would choose to either because I would rather choose to remember my loved one as they were and not like I feel like that would be like that being the last image of a person. Like that
Mm-hmm.
would be that then every time I would think of them, it would be that image, that
Yeah.
version instead of
Yep.
their living
That
self.
was,
So I don't know. That's a Anyway, yeah, it's a really negative way to end the show, but I love doing that. As you know, I thrive on negativity. So I think
mm-hmm.
but that's about it for the episode. Janet, thank you so much for doing this. It's always really, really nice to talk to you. Like I said, I didn't think that I'd get emotional during this, and I did. So I appreciate that as well. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, just this is the end of the show. So anything you want to say, anything you want to plug, anything you want to say goodbye with, here's your chance.
No, nothing I want to plug. My mind went somewhere else, but yeah, no.
Like butt plugs,
Yes, for sure. That's my favorite thing to give at white elephant gifts
butt
parties.
plugs.
I don't know why. So don't ever invite me to a white elephant party unless you want one.
No, I was gonna say, well, no. Now I'm definitely gonna invite you to.
It'll just be in you.
Yeah, it's like it'll be a lot of fun. We'll do a white elephant gift, and it's just me and you. I'm like, hell yeah! Finally got me a butt plug with there's those butt plugs with like the Pikachu tail on the end. That'd be cool.
One time I gave one a double-ended one.
Oh, that's what we should get, dude.
Yeah.
Then we can be
We
yeah. Then we can be attached like, you know, at the butt.
Ew.
Have you ever heard that whole theory where like if you're having anal sex with a girl or with a guy, whatever, and you kiss them at the same time, then it's just like you're forming a whole, just a giant hose over and over?
No.
Isn't that
I'm
crazy
trying
though?
to think. Dang. The circle of life, huh?
Yeah.
Circle of love.
Yeah. Like your mouth
Beautiful.
into that person's mouth, down, no, and down into their guts, out of their guts, and onto your wiener, and then back up into you.
That saying, remember where it was like in middle school or when they'd be like, through your boobs or now your tubes or
What
however
the
that.
fuck? I don't. I've never heard that. No.
What up your butt and through your tubes or something.
I always just heard up your butt and around the corner,
No, I feel like there was like a little like catchphrase.
like
It
a
was like,
rhyming thing.
yeah, it was like through your tubes and in your boobs and now your tubes are
What
some weird. We'll have to find it somewhere.
Yeah, we'll say that. We'll put a pin in that. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
jeez. No, and I said plug, but you don't do any. You just abandon your YouTube now, or what?
Yeah. So what happened is with the airlines, even if you look, they were getting strict on
Uh,
safety protocols and a lot of people that I kind of wanted to like they gave me the inspiration for it. They got in trouble.
okay.
So the company, so it's I'm trying to find a happy medium of what I can do and not do because a lot of things can be looked at as security issues. Um,
That makes sense, though.
Especially how high risk of a job it can be. So
Yeah.
I think my thing is I'm just trying to like I've for a while been trying to figure out how to make it not I don't know how to find a happy medium about it because even like I'll see certain flight attendants with the same airline I'm in still doing videos and I'm like, I kind of want to reach out. Like I've reached out to some of them, been like, I just know people that have gone in trouble for far
Like I
less.
don't want to be some know-it-all, but
Yeah, because it kind of sucks. I never want to be like have them think it's like coming from hate.
yeah.
Especially if you don't know somebody, but it's yeah, the company. I know other airlines. Like my best friend worked for one. They're very, 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 very strict on it. Like you couldn't even have pictures with your uniform anywhere.
Oh wow.
The company I work for is a little bit less strict, but because they're less strict, nothing's necessarily black and white. So it leaves a lot of gray area for
So
potential
something that
issues. And
you,
I,
yeah, if it was black and white, it'd be easier. You're like, okay, this is what I can, this is what I can't. But now, like,
yeah.
you
And I
think you can, but
genuinely,
you might not. So
yeah. And I enjoy my job. So I would never, like, for me,
yeah,
I'm, it's nothing I'd want to risk. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. And I might even reach out to you to see what happy mediums I can go into. But that's where I'm at now, is trying to figure out how to go about it
yeah.
correctly.
And like I said I said that makes sense because even at my job, there was a time when we were all posting stories and shit where while we're working, and they nix that. Like there's signs all over the place now that says no cameras, no taking pictures, no nothing while we're at
Mm-hmm.
work. We're like that's crazy. I'm like, oh, we're just a fucking sawmill. We're just cutting wood all day, but whatever.
I know, and I've saw even this girl got fired from Amazon. She was working in the warehouse, sorting stuff, and she got fired
Yeah,
from, no addresses, no personal information was shown. So yeah,
yeah,
that's where I'm on right now.
yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, cause I remember that was a big rule, like when we worked at the call center, but it was for that reason, because people's information you might not even notice or trade secrets and stuff like that. I'm like, all we're doing is cut wood, but rules are rules when it comes to a job. Same thing as people
Yep.
always ask me if I like my job. I'm like, well, it's not my passion, but it pays fairly
Same.
well, and I actually do enjoy the physical aspect of it, like a bit of a workout, but.
That's good.
And I like getting off early. I get off really early. Get
What
off
time?
like at 2:30 at the latest.
Damn, what time do you go in? Like
6 in the
5?
morning. 6 to 2:30.
Oh, that's a pretty good schedule. That's a little way too early for me, but
Yeah, it kind of sucks, especially this time of year, because that's the 4x4 went out on my car, and Brian's like, but roads are like, and then the snow finally started, and he's like, but roads are usually pretty clean. I'm like, they're clean when you get up at 11 in the morning, dude. I was like, when I go to work, that's when they're really shitty. So,
still frozen. Mm-hmm.
but anyway, I think that's the end of that. Let's play this little. Can you even hear the music over the thing?
I did, and I wanted to, I was dancing to it.
Oh. See, that's what sucks about not having the video up, because so far everybody like starts to groove to the little beat that I made. So
I know.
So I'm glad to know you did. Thank you so much for doing this, and we'll talk some more later. Hopefully you come on some other time.
Hasta la pasta.
Peace out.